the morning, top of 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 the morning.
Well everyone, here we are. In the same week as my birthday, the final episode of Digimon Adventure 2020. And well, what a spectacle it was.
Damn! That's good!
Don't flirt with him.
I'm not going to...
It's something we've all been waiting for quite some time, but it's also a moment of dread, as I think people are quite sad to see it go. But nevertheless, here we are in the final episode 67 review of Digimon Adventure. And quite naturally, there's so much to talk about. Obviously there are things I want to keep to a minimum for a different video another time, but strictly this episode, this journey, this adventure has been phenomenal. So let's do this together one more time. Thank you all for watching and for being with me. Enjoy. Now that you are sat down and comfortable, I feel like there is something I must do as a fan of the reboot who has been amazed consistently by this fantastic animation and those who produce the beautiful quality that we've had. Think of all the best episodes of Digimon 2020. I guarantee you these guys were behind it, and it's stunning visuals. So without further ado, I would like to give my warmest thank yous and congratulations to those who work at Tonari Animation, and friends of course, who have worked on Digimon Adventure 2020 throughout the series, who I've actually accredited before for their amazing work, but this morning my suspicions were confirmed in that my animator friends did work on episode 67, and man, they blew us out of the water. And thus I would love to shout out Jubenine, Future Chocolate Stephen Hausdorff, Barkarot, Sakamin0417, Masashi Harada, Jordan Bays. There are of course maybe other names that were on there that I have missed, but generally those who worked at Tonari Animation, they were featured in the credits of the episode. Please, I implore you to check out their social media sites, follow them, and keep up to date with their work. After all, this might not be the last time we actually see them. So to my animator friends out there, thank you for making this finale for Digimon fans, and those who just enjoy brilliant animation overall. Super enjoyable and super memorable, and I'd love to see all of your names again. But now for the finale, the episode review. Omegamon charging into the main body of Abbadomon, and it was noted that Abbadomon was actually allowing them into the main body. It wants this showdown. This villain wants this duel. It has a point to prove. That point being, as it itself says, I am the one who consumes, etc. An extremely menacing presence and a humanoid form which takes a very similar appearance to Omegamon, which I think is quite fitting considering they are exact opposites. So to fight on a very similar physical plane just made sense to me. And I love the humanoid form of Abbadomon. Just such a sick design, taking this Abbadomon spherical form which people were memeing about being Full Metal Alchemist's ripoff.
You stupid.
And making it its own thing. You've got to give them credit. It's a great concept. Abbadomon speaking was great, but I suppose the only reason it really did that was to set up an event later on in the episode which we'll get to. But furthermore, it seems like Yamato is the first point of contact for Abbadomon in dialogue, which is quite strange because Yamato has not really had much time to shine since his Metal Gurumon episode way back in episode 45. But today it seems like Yamato really shares that limelight with Taichi, and it actually feels like the Yamato he should have been for the better part of a third of the reboot at least. There are once again references and head nods to our wargame with the children of the human world watching the battle unfold on their devices. But to my and many others' euphoria, the other chosen are still battling, they still have a job to do, and lo and behold, I did say this would be the case in multiple of my previous videos. They've always had their role to play in the Great Catastrophe. The Holy Digimon are battling, Seraphimon, they all look great, Seven Heavens, Eden's Javelin, and then out of nowhere, the other chosen come to the battle, and the other six are united, having the larger body of Abbadomon to confront. It was also made clear by Izzy that Abbadomon is having a hard time piloting the humanoid form on the inside and the larger body. And so they theorise if they keep this one busy, Abbadomon will have a harder time navigating both bodies on the inside. I'm not really sure if we saw the effects of this tactic, because it didn't seem like Abbadomon, the humanoid form, slowed down in the battle at all. But still, they had something to do, they had something to prevent, as after all, it was still consuming the real world. We had this phenomenal, beautiful showdown between the humanoid Abbadomon and Omegamon on the inside of the body. Stunning, slick movements. We had an entire arsenal reveal of all of Omegamon's kit, missiles out of every single crevice in the Gurumon arm, and popping this hologram Brave Shield out of its shoulder was just fantastic to see all of Omegamon's abilities. It kind of reminded me of episode 48 with Greymon. You know how Greymon used every single thing it had in its toolbox to win that battle against Mugendramon? This is a similar situation. Omegamon pulled everything out of the bag, which is great, which is what you want from a final battle. But Abbadomon wasn't really fazed by this. Abbadomon was matching Omegamon blow for blow, and at some points in the battle, taking control and going ahead, having crazy abilities like shooting a smaller version of itself, which attaches to Omegamon's Brave Shield, but then Taichi's Fire of Courage burn off the excess Abbadomon. And it was super fun, this huge blast from Abbadomon pushing Omegamon all the way back into different areas of the main body, then kind of rolling its shoulder and deflecting the blast off of the Brave Shield. Oh, beautiful.
Damn!
The choreography was fantastic, undeniably. This is non-negotiable. From beam struggles to multiple clashes at high speeds, to Omegamon almost using martial arts, redirecting Abbadomon's blasts, knocking his hand away. Then Omegamon using its own cape as a cover-up to use the Guru cannon at point blank on Abbadomon, which had an effect. And it wasn't just the skills of Omegamon, but the techniques, the fighting style. But we've just never seen Omegamon like this. Not as raw, not as ruthless, not as tactile. And it just blew me away. Omegamon's is so impressive. But then Abbadomon, just as powerful and just as tactile, also gets Omegamon in a bind. Then we pan back to the other Chosen mid-battle with the main body of Abbadomon. We get great shots of Rosemon, Hercules Kabuterimon and Vikemon breaking off all these tendrils, looking fantastic. But I have to say, the voice actors for the other 6 Chosen at this time, particularly Joe and Izzy, they just gave 200% to the voice acting in this episode. And all their crests flash. We then get reference to the other Digimon friends back in the digital world, and in that moment begets another miracle, and thus we get a scene, or several scenes, that were so mind-blowingly awesome. I never thought this concept would actually be executed, but Omegamon busts out double blades and double guns, using a combination of Crest Garurumon sword, Greymon sword, coupled with then Metal Garurumon's cannon and Blitz Greymon's cannon, using 2 at a time, surprising Abbadomon, getting the upper hand, blowing him back. And then in the midst of the chaos and the smoke and destruction appears the last miracle of the Chosen. Omegamon Alter-S makes his anime debut in quite some fashion, looking crisp in its debut, as Blitz Greymon should have. Nevertheless, amazing. A beautiful debut, followed up with a domination over Abbadomon. All these techniques and powers that Abbadomon is just not ready for, has not seen before, and has nothing for. Omegamon stops Abbadomon in its tracks with the Blitz Greymon cannon. And once again, this Dragon Ball Z imagery with the Crest Garuru sword pulls out this Soul Punisher technique, completely laying waste to it. Unbelievable, like unbelievable. But still, Abbadomon is not defeated yet. In a final desperate attempt, it unleashes this monstrous, muscular, grotesque, gargantuan mouthpiece, this jaw, and lunges for Alter-S. However, much like in episode 65, how the Digimon beat Agumon, its mega form, when evolving inside of it, Omegamon Alter-S charges into that mouth and then mode shifts back into Omegamon, eviscerating it with that energy. And one of the reasons why I believe they made Abbadomon speak is that Omegamon could counter what Abbadomon says about vanishing and he will no longer exist. Omegamon, on the side of existence, perseveres and said, look, you're a Digimon too, you can exist in any way that you like. Gives him the all might, Sarabada. Abbadomon fades away and Omegamon, what I can only imagine, deletes that world completely. And thus brings around the end of Adventure, the scenes with the Chosen being naturally quite satisfied with their endeavours. Valdemon giving its thanks from episode 5, Leomon, Lopmon and Wisemon telling the legend. We get a little tease for the future of Adventure, the connections between the human world and the digital world is something quite new. Abbadomon was just one of many possibilities that could happen from that connection. And then this Digitama, which many people thought was Bottomon, myself included, actually, I think this is Negativemon. I'm still not saying its name. Because when Abbadomon was defeated, we did actually see it transform into a little egg-like shape, so I do believe this is it. A little bit like Kid Buu in Dragon Ball Z. Things that I loved from the end of this episode was shots of Rebellion and Macmon riding around together, at Babamon's school, We had Lilamon, that was a cool feature. It was really cool to see the partners return to the human world with the Chosen, because it kind of gives you the feeling that there's more to their story. But it was nice just seeing the partners and the Chosen enjoy themselves for once. And if you thought they weren't already teasing a Digimon Adventure 2020 sequel, they then show you this image of Izzy at Mimi's new company, opening up a digital gate trial. Now, if that doesn't scream sequel to you, I don't know what does. Which is super exciting, I'm super happy about, and I don't really mind 2020 ending like this, because it's an open book and the possibilities are endless. But in a very shocking turn of events, it seems as though Taichi and Agumon stay in the digital world. Very similar to Marcus Damon and Digimon Series, is their work left unfinished? But wow. Everything I've just covered, all of it, everything I mentioned, I loved. What an experience it's been. I didn't want to make this very soppy because we're going to have Digimon Ghost Game going into October, I can imagine for quite some time. So the adventures do not end there, but the reboot story has been a very charming one. And I won't go over this too much because there's a completely different video in the future, but it is just hella fun. It's hella fun. But everyone, this episode was my favourite. In terms of what it encapsulated about the reboot, the things that I'd said along the ways, for weeks and weeks, it's just ended on such a fantastic high note, and that's all I wanted. But with that everybody, this is the very last review of Digimon Adventure 2020 on this channel. Not the last video, of course, there'll be more to come in the future, naturally. And these reviews will become Digimon Ghost Game reviews. For those who will stick with me and have stood by me, I appreciate you the world and back. I am over the moon with the support you have given me. For those who do not want to continue watching these reviews, because you're not interested in Digimon Ghost Game, I fully understand, but maybe just drop a like and a comment at least, just to let me know you're still there. And that would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. You can expect plenty more content coming next week. The grind, the adventure, the journey does not stop. But over and above all, and most importantly, everyone, take care.